Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome back to Red Dead Redemption 2. But before I kind of jump into this quest that's Dutch Vanderlyn's got going on, there was something that he mentioned in the last mission that kind of stands out, and that was a more concrete, more specific plan. The idea that they're trying to save money and get away from it all, but not specifically to a vague destination, but to Tahiti or Australia. This is the first time Dutch has actually mentioned the idea that he plans for all of them to save enough money to leave the country and go to Tahiti or Australia. And I feel as though because he mentioned a specific place, that's the first reason for why his plan is going to fail. Other than the fact that we already know various parts of that plan do fail due to the fact that this is a prequel. But also, there's a certain element of narrative structure that emphasizes that this is going to fail. It's kind of like that whole, that officer that's 2 days away from retirement. He's gonna go out on a boat with his wife. The boat is the name of the boat is I'll Live Forever. Everything's gonna be perfect. There's that. I've been actually kind of replaying Diablo 3 at the moment for no particularly good reason, but Leia in that game also kind of features that same, wishful retirement. Anytime a character starts to really detail what they plan to do once the adventure is over, that really tends to just increase the odds that they are going to die, or their plans are going to fail. But also, you look at game structure, too. As this is a video game, and as this has to be a big design area, there's no way that the final act is going to take place in a completely different area than what we've been traveling through all this time. I would be impressed if Rockstar was like, okay, the last act of the game takes place in Australia, in the outback. But that's not going to happen, because you need to stay in the map. Nico Bellic doesn't leave Liberty City. Michael doesn't leave Los Santos. Because these are the limits to his narrative. Now, last mission, Dutch got smacked in the head something good.
You get the deciding vote.
Oh?
What? We take an insult and scurry off like cockroaches? Or deal with business the right way?
We don't need to take revenge. We hardly know the guy.
This ain't about revenge, Hosea. Angelo Bronte don't mean shit to me. This is about the fact we are planning to rob a bank in his town.
A bank that he no doubt protects.
A town where his men are gunning for us. Before we do that, we need to put him out of commission.
I disagree. There's always an easier way.
There ain't no easier way. Now, I know his type. He is a vindictive little power broker who rules...
I would agree with Dutch in this case.
In his cesspit of a town...
Especially considering... consider the fact that Angelo Bronte, he set up the people in his trolley station to be robbed.
This is the last job that we are ever going to pull. Before the year is out, we are going to be harvesting mangoes in Tahiti. Farmers. But we need seed capital, and we need to leave. You know it. I know it.
Forgive me if I can't think too much about the mango harvest.
This is it. Trust me. Arthur.
If it's business, well, business is business.
I'm not necessarily surprised that Arthur would side with Dutch, although I still wonder exactly how long Arthur's loyalty to Dutch is going to be.
I've heard that before, and usually I've been right. If you say so. Quit doubting, Arthur. It does no favors. Come on. We need to go see a man about a boat.
As long as you don't need to go see a man about a horse. Because I ain't pissing around.
Why do we need a boat?
Also, there's a whole narrative structure.
Mansion from the swamp. Catch him off guard. He knows we survived the trial.
All right, so basically, this is a setup mission.
Some kind of reprisal. All right. Okay, makes sense. See, I do still possess some capacity for rational thought, Arthur.
If you say so. There is still one pending narrative loop, not loop, thread. And that's the fact that
Side back there. It ain't
we
about
still have to go to
feels
Blackwater.
like Hosea's lost his spine.
We still have that hanging thread. We still have the Pinkertons. We still have Cornswall.
Neither.
Not to mention Colm
Need to hit that bank. And Bronte has
Colm
police and
O'Driscoll.
just about everything else in San
Like, are we just going to kind of leave them all behind?
So set us up. And lest we forget, took young Jack.
And that was essentially the whole reason that we ended up meeting Angelo Bronte, is he used Jack as kind of this pawn to pull in Dutch and crew.
And what it takes to support 20 people. Let alone what it takes to give 20 people a new life overseas. With all due respect, Dutch, is this Tahiti plan really gonna work out? You tell me, Arthur. Is it?
I'm asking you because
Hey, I am bending over backwards to make a future for us. I know, but when did you become so small-minded?
Dutch.
Break up the family, go our separate ways? Just tell me. Of course not. This isn't a prison.
Talk about the hard gaslighting.
Forcing anybody to stay.
Oh, jeez.
So either we're in this together, working together to get out together, or we're not. There simply isn't a reality in which we do nothing and get everything. I know. You're right. Just feels like we're on borrowed time again. I mean,
The whole game we were on borrowed time.
yeah. We need to move, and soon. Haven't I made that clear?
And I feel like that whole feeling of borrowed time distracts people from the fact that that Dutch doesn't necessarily have a plan.
Like John. I swear that woman is poisoning him against me. I've seen it before. Anyway, here we are. Let me do the talking.
We're here on representation of our group. We need to talk to your swamp folk.
Thomas, it is good to see you, my friend.
Hello, Mr. Dutch.
Thomas, have you met Arthur? Arthur, Thomas is quite the boatman. He's gonna help us get close to our prey. The other night we
He's
had
gonna
quite
ferry
an
us over the
adventure
river
fishing for
Styx.
Catfish. Now, my friend, can I call in that favor?
What do you need?
You know Angelo Bronte. Well, exactly. We need to make
A social call.
we were hoping we could roll
My
some
gosh.
quietly one evening around the back of his house.
Well, if anyone can, I can.
We'll pay you for your trouble.
If you bringing him trouble, it won't be no trouble for me.
Good.
My business partner, Jules, he's out on the skiff. I need to check with him. Plus, I need to check the traps. Would you come with me?
Of course. Arthur?
Lead the way.
Shouldn't take too long if we can find him.
Trouble is, we won't be able to find him. It's gator country out here.
Be live. Mind you, there's a lot of gators. Uncommon number. Big ones.
I seem to have strange premonition today.
Arthur? It'll take more than a prehistoric reptile to scare you, surely.
I just want to
Well,
see you meet your match when it comes to an agent
I am
with a big mouth.
strong against prehistoric reptiles, and don't you call me Shirley.
He's more of a jester than a gunslinger.
Well, if you say so, Mr. Dutch. This way. Come on, this way. Follow me here. And stay on the higher ground.
What kind of jokes do you tell?
It feels like water to me.
I tell jokes in the form of bullets. Also, high ground is relative.
Fish traps up ahead.
Okay, sirs, you don't have to.
Keep a lookout for company. Mr. Arthur, check the traps with me.
All right, let's search this trap. Oh, those are some big fish over there.
This one's empty.
All right. I got a few more set over this way. Come on.
I don't want to know what just touched my leg.
Mr. Dutch, you sure you the right fellas to be going after Angelo Brunson?
Oh, he's much more the kind of reptile I can handle.
If you can't handle no unknown mystery fish,
Oh, I fully intend to, Thomas.
then how do you expect to take on your enemy? That's like 2 steps removed for if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Pastime, can't you?
I love it out here. Peaceful. Nobody bothers.
Is this kind of like the vague high ground?
The nightfall.
Except for the night folk?
Strange people around these parts. Wilder than the animals they are.
Well, this just gets better and better.
Also, don't take a piss, or the leeches will swim up right through your dick. Bonus points if you know which movie that's from. It's a gator.
Alright, let's keep moving. I got another trap by that small island up here. I don't know what's taking Jules so long with that boat.
I think we are all equally keen to find him.
I'm glad that you set up the fact that 1, this is gator country, 2, this is dark and spooky, 3, there are the night people. So Jules is dead. He has been eaten by an alligator who has allied himself with the night people.
Give me a hand here, Mr. Arthur. This trap is stuck in the mud. It happens.
Alright. Nope. Thomas. There we go. Dutch, if you ain't gonna do nothing, at least shine a light on the situation.
Guess something didn't want to be caught.
My gosh.
Dun dun dun.
What is?
There's been talk of a big old bull, but people talk a lot of nonsense. I guess this was... No, but only something huge could do this.
Wait, did the story of this game suddenly become Lake Placid?
Let's hope it bites you first, Dutch. Should we just keep moving? I don't really want to hang around here much longer.
All right.
Like, did we temporarily switch from a spaghetti western to a spaghetti western in a crocodile movie? Speaking of which, what are your thoughts in regards to like genre-bending films? Like, it starts off as one genre, but it becomes another. Like, imagine like a survival horror story, but set in spaghetti western times. You know, I think I might have already talked about this like a long time ago. That's the problem with spending so much time playing one game, is that like after several weeks you're like, oh, I completely forgot about the time I started talking about this other game. Like I probably mentioned Betrayer at some point, because that's the closest thing I can think of to like a horror type game in this type of environment. Although I believe Betrayer takes place more towards colonial times.
Arthur, since you appear so at home here, you take the right. We'll go left. What?
Just keep your eyes open.
I thought I was following you so that I don't sink into the swampland. I will definitely have to take a bath after this mission. Or if it's inconvenient, after the next mission. Because it's like you try to do a sneaking mission into somebody's mansion, but you smell like swamp, and you're like, oh, I'm taking cover behind here, and the guards are all going to be like, what is that over there?
Jules?
I smell an interloper in our midst.
Hey! Someone there?
And they look over and the smell lines are coming off of your body.
Hello?
So thick is your odor.
Hey! Someone there?
This is kind of a big search radius. I'm going to assume
Jules?
the game wants me to kind of go towards center. To center mass.
Hello?
Oh, hello. That's Jules. He looks like he's hanging to his death. Or is he up top of this tree to avoid death by a gator?
That must be him.
Greetings and salutations, Jules. What can I do for you at this moment? Other than not die.
Hey, you in the tree. What are you doing?
There's a monster. A monster.
You okay up there?
There's a monster.
Where?
Massive. It nearly ate me.
And where'd he go?
It's out there.
What?
A big gator. Biggest I ever saw. Big and nasty. Knocked me off the boat and chased me over here.
You must be Jules.
Yes.
Where is the boat?
Over there. I ran. Oh.
Okay. And, where'd this monster swim off to?
I think that way. Good luck shooting that thing. You'll need a cannon.
Thanks. Oh my... Okay. Arthur's just gonna automatically walk around that side.
It's over here. Stuck.
I believe that's what our feller Jules had said. Ah,
Got it loose.
thank you, Jules, for deciding to step out of your hiding place.
All right, let's get back to the dock.
Yes, please, let's go.
Wait, is this gator gonna be a problem now or later? Also, that rhymed.
Thank God. So, who are these fellas, Thomas?
Two new friends of mine. I'll explain later.
Jules, we are very happy to have finally made your acquaintance.
I thought I was gonna be out here all night.
What you doing hiding up in the tree, boy?
This gator was huge, Thomas. Twice as big as I ever seen.
1,000 feet long. Oh, like, what?
I think we hit a tree stump.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna need to jump in and pull us free.
Me?
Yeah, just do it. Won't take you a minute, boy. Go on.
This is a bad idea.
You'll see any giant monster long before it gets anywhere near you. Got a couple of crack gunslingers here with their guns loaded. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but our guns aren't exactly out of our
Yeah, neither
holsters.
is you. Just
So,
a bit, Jules. Now pull.
anytime somebody says, yeah, that monster fish, just a myth, don't exist. Like, that guy's just gonna be eaten by... Oh, there he goes.
Shit. He won't kill me.
No, I'm going in.
No, we can't lose the boat. Arthur will go. Well, quick. Hurry, Arthur.
Alright. Jules. Okay, it's nice.
Come here, son.
Also, I'm pretty sure that... Ah, shit.
Where'd he go?
Where... Nope, there we go.
I'm coming. I got you, son. I got you.
Oh, God, no.
It's coming back.
Shoot something.
It wants hors d'oeuvres.
God, oh, God, no. Please hurry.
I'm totally looking behind me.
Shots just to pretend you care. I got you covered.
Like, is...
Quick as you can. Come on.
Yeah, I've used up, like, all of my stamina in this.
Put him here. Come on. Give me here. Come on. Come on, quickly. Quickly.
There we go.
Here. This leg hurt pretty bad. He should be okay. Get in.
But that was his favorite boot.
Finish that son of a bitch, Arthur.
Just hold on. It's coming.
I think he's gone. Shit, that is one big old gate.
Oh, your boy doesn't look too good there.
Here, take this. Try to stop the bleeding.
He seems to have been bitten by a giant gator.
Gonna be okay.
Just thank your old Uncle Dutch.
I heard that.
Also, I guess if we weren't there anyway,
There's still a lot of blood. You need to put pressure on it.
like, if we weren't there to recruit these people, like, this guy may or probably would be dead. Maybe Thomas as well if he went off to say to look for Jules on his own. So,
Down a fever.
I suppose he should thank
Is the
Dutch.
least of our worries. Look who's back. God damn.
Shady's back.
Put every bullet you got in him. Don't let him get any closer. He's under the water, coming right for us.
That's what he's doing. Although, like, now that he's just kind of like basically swam to us and then swam away, and then swam towards us again. Like, he's not quite as spooky as he was before. Like, the closest analogy I can think of is, man, that boy's very greased up,
Sorry, Jules.
very swamped up.
Big and mad. That's unusual.
The closest analogy I can think of is, like, in Condemned 1. Like, the farther I got into the game, the more I realized that the pathfinding of the bad guys was relatively poor.
I weren't the one squealing.
And because their pathfinding was poor, they became
Can we get some help? Jules been bitten.
much less frightening.
There's a monster out here. He's been bitten, but he's alive. Just keep him warm. Feed him garlic for the infection. Thank you. Both of you. I'm at your service anytime you need.
Thank you, Thomas. Where can we find you?
Just meet me back here.
Very good.
Can one of you help me put the boat back out?
Sure. I'm gonna head back to camp and placate the irritable Miss O'Shea, who's causing more trouble. I'll collect the boys. Meet you back here, Arthur.
Mr. Arthur? Old Brunty. Bad man.
I know.
Folks.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Well, he definitely lacks a certain charm.
I'll see you soon. You be safe. We got monsters out here.
Which is kind of interesting, the idea that, like, by killing Angelo Bronte, they're actually doing the community a service. Ah, that's a nice cinematic shot. But that's gonna be it for today. Got some more Red Dead 2 coming up later tonight. Probably going to be that Revenge upon Angelo Bronte mission. More Doom Eternal tomorrow and Thursday. Turok continues Friday. The Takeover. Does the Takeover finish? I don't even know my schedule anymore. Takeover's done. It's already done. So I'm going back into Control this weekend because the expansion had come out. If you got any suggestions for what to play next, just leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.